What is up, everybody? Hope you're doing well out there. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another comic book review, and I normally don't do comic book reviews, but this one was actually really good, and this was recommended to me by the local comic book guy, and it is NOCTERRA Volume 1, Full Throttle Dark, and the synopsis behind this is the world's plunged into darkness. There's no sun, there's no stars, there's no nothing. And everything in the dark, all life that has to survive, is changed in the darkness. So like the trees are changed, the grass is changed, the fish, the birds, everything. And humans actually get changed the worst, and they become these abominations, these crazy creatures. And that's basically the world we're living in, and the story starts off. I really like the story. It's got a very, starting off with where were you when John F. Kennedy died? Where were you when, 9/11? Where were you during the pandemic kind of thing? It's, one of the more common questions is, where were you on that morning? And it starts off with the day of this big eclipse. And this, right back then, this girl's a little girl, and she's in school, and then the world goes black. An eclipse covers everything. And then people start changing, and the story changes from, it's really kind of zombie apocalyptic, where, people are going to these centers where there's supposed to be help, and they're lighting up stadiums for everybody to flock to. And then, of course, it's like The Walking Dead or something, where the stadiums, they all start collapsing, all the safe centers start collapsing, and then it cuts to modern day. And in modern day, she's grown up, and they're truck drivers in the future. And they're hauling people around. They've got everything rigged up, and they're just traveling around. It's kind of like a Mad Max vibe. It's, at this point, where they're traveling they're traveling across the country. They're going to these different little ports or truck stops. And the story focuses on this girl who she's taken this guy and his granddaughter to where they gotta go. And this grandfather, he's the guy who he's the reason, we don't know at this point, but he's the reason the sun is kind of blacked out. And they don't bring up the fact that, the sun, it's not really blacked out because, it's not like plunged into cold, it's just dark. And then the art on this is extremely beautiful. I love it. I love the narration, how she goes back and forth. They're telling a modern story. Yeah, here's the creature. And the creatures, once they turn dark, the trees can breed with humans, the cats can breed with dogs. Like, once you're a shade, you can pretty much procreate with anything else that's a shade, creating all kinds of variants and weird things that the people in this world have to live in. And another cool thing was they were talking about, there was people camping out, and they were in the woods, and they only had the shade wood to try to light a fire with. So they lit the shade wood, and it only lit off like a small glow, because it's not normal wood. It was the wood that it had been corrupted. And the fish and everything else, it's the same way. Like, you can eat the fish meat, but it's really not that good. And the story actually starts getting a little bit deeper the further into you go to it. Like, if you're out in the dark too long, let me just try to bring up, you can start, your gums start turning black, and you start turning into a shade. And they check you, this kind of gets Last of Us, so they start checking you at these stations to make sure your gums are okay. And her brother gets infected, and so she's trying to get him to a safe haven so they can put some light on him. And this old man, he's supposed to get him to this safe haven. And it's a really unique story, because it's like they're trucking pretty much across the United States trying to save her brother. And this granddad, he's trying to save his granddaughter. And then this dark man comes in, and this dark man is actually very, very cool, because he's just a silhouette. And he comes in, and he's like the Man in Black from the Stand or something. He just comes in, and he is just brutal. Touches this guy's face, just melts him. and he seems like he's a force to be reckoned with. And then he's closing with, you know, oh, he's after the truck drivers, the caravan that just left. He's after them. And it's usually got really good cliffhangers like this. Like this was the end of issue 1. And then, yeah, here's the cover and the start of issue 2. And then again, it starts off with flashbacks where like they're flashing back to the very first few nights of the beginning of the eclipse, and everybody's banding together and they're kind of figuring out what's going on. And the girl's young here, still dealing with her brother. And they're planning on packing up movies. They're having a little argument about the batteries. And like I said, it gets a really captivating story. I could see Netflix or somebody picking this up and turning it into a miniseries, because it's not so much superheroes. It's kind of like A Quiet Place. But instead of sound, this one is mostly focused on light. And we find out, yeah, there's the safe haven to go to. We find out eventually, yeah, this is another flashback when the girl and her brother, they find out their parents are infected, and they wind up having to go to a safe zone. And yeah, the art is extremely nice on this. And some of it cuts into real life lore. Like they're in a real cave. They're talking about this cave that they're in Utah. And it used to be an ancient, you know, Indian cave it's famous for tourist attractions for the hieroglyphics. And even the hieroglyphics are like, are these real hieroglyphics, or did the tourists put them here, you know, to try to promote tourism? And now in this post-apocalyptic dystopian future, it's a safe haven for these people to go. And they put these luminescent handprints on. And they're having a little argument. Her brother's changing, turning into one of the zombies. This is where it gets with the Last of Us vibes. And, yeah, this is really captivating storytelling. The storytelling on this is phenomenal. This guy, they knocked it out of the park with it. And I really recommend you guys pick it up. I could see it becoming like a Netflix thing. Like I said, they're underground, and they finally see sunlight. She's finally seeing flowers bloom. And now we're getting into issues like 5 and 6. Yeah, issue 5 was really good. That's when they go to the safe haven. They're showing the girl after the parents are dead. They're in the camp. The girl knows. She's like, this place is going to fall. You know, she's just trying to keep her brother safe. And then sure enough, the place does fall. You know, like I said, and it bounces, you know, back and forth. And it's a really good. The artwork's good. The story's good. Everything about this is pretty top-notch. I highly recommend it. Like, I literally just got done reading Volume 1. I'm going to go pick up Volume 2. And probably check that one out and review it. It's NOCTERRA. It's from Image Comics. And it is, let me get some recognition. It's by Scott Snyder, Tony Daniel, and Tamara More. And I cannot recommend this enough. This has been such a nice, fresh of breath air to check out and read. And I'm definitely going to check out Volume 2. Apparently it's a limited series, so there's only going to be 3 volumes. But this covers the first 6 issues, and then the next 6 issues are going to be out. And yeah, I can't wait. I hope you guys check it out. If you do, let me know in the comments. If you like this review, also let me know in the comments, and leave a like, all that fun YouTube stuff. And take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, good stuff.